So let's start today with trying to find the vertex, the focus, the directrix, and axis of symmetry given an equation. So in this case, I have y equals 1/2 x squared. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change this equation so that it looks like the equation that I'm used to, which is the equation y equals 1 over 4p times x minus h squared plus k. Now I'm missing quite a lot of things out of this equation right here. So what I'm going to do is, if you notice, I am going to see that the x squared right over here can be written as x minus 0 squared. So I'm going to write this as 1 over 2 times x minus 0 squared. And then the k is not there, which means that it's 0 as well. What this helps me do is it helps me see that the vertex, which is hk, is going to be 0, 0. Now the second thing I do is I'm going to grab that 1/2 and I'm going to say that 1 over 4p is equal to 1/2. Now if you're not sure about how to do this and how to get from 4 to 2, which would be 1/2, you can always just go ahead and do cross multiplication. So you do 4p times 1, because you do that one, and then you multiply 1 times 2 equals 2. So you get 4p equals 2, so p is equal to 2 over 4, which is 1/2. Now that I have the p, and this is positive, so that means that my parabola looks like this, has a focus somewhere around here. This is my vertex, and this is my directrix. So I know that the distance between the vertex and the focus is going to be p. So from my vertex to my focus, I'm going to have my 0, which is the same x, right? Because there's an axis of symmetry right here, which we'll discuss in a second. And then I'm going to move from 0 to 1/2. So this is going to be 0, 1/2. My directrix is an equation y equals negative 1/2, because that's also the distance from the vertex to the directrix. So this is your equation of the directrix. And my axis of symmetry is always the h of the vertex, so that means that it is going to be x equals 0. And there you have all four things. You have your focus, your directrix, your axis of symmetry, and your vertex. On this problem, I also want to go ahead and write this equation as y equals 1 over 4p times x minus h squared plus k. So what do you think we're supposed to do right now? Well, one of the things that we can do is factor and then complete the square. So if you remember from when we were doing circles and ellipses, you can do y equals negative 2 times x squared minus 8x plus blank plus 1. And then because I'm on the same side of the equation, I'm going to do the opposite. So if I add 8, I subtract 8, because I want the quantity to equal 0 at the end. So I'm going to do 8 divided by 2 is 4, so squared is 16. And that means that I actually added negative 32 because this 2 applies to that 16. So negative 2 times 16 is negative 32. So I actually have to add positive 32 in order to cancel that out. Because again, I'm not changing the equation, I'm just changing the way that it looks. So I'm going to do y equals negative 2 times x minus 4 squared plus 33. So now I can see that here's where I'm going to get the h, here's where I'm going to get the k. That means that my vertex is going to be 4, 33. The other thing that I know is that I need to find p. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the negative 2. I'm going to say negative 2 is equal to 1 over 4p. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 4p, so I get negative 8p equals 1. So p equals negative 1/8. Now this parabola opens down, so I'm going to say that this parabola is going to look something like this, with a focus here, a directrix here, axis of symmetry. So my vertex is right here and my focus is there, and it's negative 1/8. So I'm going to say that my focus is going to be at 4, and then 33 plus negative 1/8. Now, I know how you feel about fractions, but this is 33 times 8. It's 240 plus 24, so 244. So that's 244 over 8. Let me make sure. So 8 times 3 is 24. So 240 plus 24, it's 264. Sorry. Let me erase that real quick. Or not. Let me see if it will let me. But it's not letting me erase, so I'm going to just scratch it out and write through 264 divided by 8 minus 1/8, because a plus minus is the same. So your focus is going to equal 4 comma 263 over 8. Don't worry about anything else, because right now all I'm asking for is for you to find things. So I don't need that to be a mixed number. I really don't want it as a decimal. Now that you have your focus, you're going to get your directrix. So you're going to go and find that y equals equation. So you got y equals. You start at 33. So you're going to subtract negative 1/8. So you're actually adding it. We already know that this is 264 divided by 8. Plus 1/8. So your answer is going to be y equals 265 over 8. There's your directrix. Here's your focus. Here's your vertex. And then the only thing we're missing is that axis of symmetry. So your axis of symmetry is x equals 4, because it's always the x of the vertex for any vertical parabola. Now we're being asked to find the equation of the parabola. So one of the things that I do know is that if my vertex is at 0, 2, so I'm going to go ahead and write a very ugly sketch, but 0, 2 would be somewhere around here. And my directrix is at negative 2, so this is y equals negative 2. Then my vertex is in the middle of these two things. Now, the middle of that, if you can't tell visually, but it's 0, 0. So that's my vertex. Now, what if you didn't know that that was 0, 0? Well, you can always find the distance between those two things. So the distance between two numbers, and we're looking only at the y's, so the distance between those two numbers is 2 minus negative 2, which is 4. Now, that's the distance between those 2 points, which is 2p, because the distance between these points is p, and the distance between these other points is also p. So that means that twice p is the distance between the the focus and the directrix. So 2p equals 4, that means that p equals 2. So now you know that the distance between this focus and the vertex is going to be 0, 0 because of the 2. So 2 minus 2 is 0, and that's how you get to your vertex. So you can always find the value of p if you're given these two things, or you can visually see if you're graphing it that it is 0, 0. Once I have the vertex, I need 1 over 4p. Now, like I said, p is 2, so 1 over 4p is 1 over 8. And then you're done with your equation. So you have y equals x minus 0 squared, well, 1/8. I forgot about that. Plus 0. And then you have to simplify. You can't just leave all those zeros there. So you have y equals 1/8 times x squared. And that's it. You're done. This is the equation of that parabola.